Hello everyone, welcome to Educate 247. This is the 11th lecture on our special revision series for SEBI Grade A 2020 examinations. In this lecture, we will be discussing the MCQs on Accounting Standard 11 that deals with accounting for foreign exchange rates. Accounting standards are a part of your syllabus for commerce and accountancy for SEBI Grade A. We have already prepared videos on Accounting Standard 1 and 2. You can go through those videos to understand what kind of questions will be asked in the exams. Begin with the first question. Number 1. Foreign currency is a currency dash. A. Used in recording the foreign transactions. B. Used in presenting the foreign financial statements. C. Other than the reporting currency of an enterprise. Or D. Other than the Indian currency. So the answer to this question is other than the reporting currency of an enterprise. Now, Accounting Standard 11, it has many important definitions that can be asked in your exams. So let us go through some of the definitions. The first is reporting currency. What is reporting currency? Reporting currency is the currency used in presenting the financial statements. So for example, in India, the financial statements are presented using Indian rupee, right? So the Indian rupee is the reporting currency in India. Now, what is foreign currency? Foreign currency is a currency other than the reporting currency of an enterprise. In other words, it is the currency other than the domestic, local or home currency. So any currency other than the reporting currency, that becomes your foreign currency. Now let us look at the definition of monetary items and non-monetary items. Now these two terms are very important in Accounting Standard 11. We should understand the definition of these two terms to solve our upcoming MCQs, right? So let us go through the definition of monetary items. Monetary items are money held and assets and liabilities to be received or paid in fixed or determinable amounts of money. So what are monetary items? They are nothing but simply assets and liabilities whose receipt or payment is pending. For example, if I take a loan today, then I have to repay the loan at some time in future, right? So the payment regarding the loan is pending. So loan becomes a monetary item for me. Now let's say I buy a machinery and I make payment today only. So now no further payment is pending for the machinery, right? So the machinery becomes a non-monetary item. So I hope you understood the difference between monetary and non-monetary items. So non-monetary items are assets and liabilities other than monetary items. Now let us move forward. Next question. Question number 2. Exchange rate is dash. A. The exchange rate at balance sheet date. B. The mean of exchange rate in force during a period. C. The ratio of exchange of two currencies. Or D. The rate at which assets could be exchanged between knowledgeable willing parties in an arm's length transaction. So the answer to this question is the ratio of exchange of two currencies. Now exchange rate is a very important concept for Accounting Standard 11 because all the transactions of an entity covered in AS 11 should present its account in local currency. Foreign exchange should be converted into local currency for accounting purpose. And how do we convert? By applying the exchange rate. Now let us understand the concept of initial recognition. A foreign currency transaction that is denominated in or needs settlement in any foreign currency should be recorded by applying to the foreign currency the amount of exchange rate between the reporting currency and the foreign currency at the date of transaction. So this means, let's take an example. Suppose I take a loan in foreign currency today. Now I have to record that transaction in my books of accounts, right? So the day I record, so today, the first time I record the transactions, that becomes my initial recognition. And while initially recognizing, which exchange rate do I use? I use the exchange rate at the date of the transaction, that is today. Now, what is subsequent recognition? Subsequent recognition is the recognition of foreign transaction at balance sheet date. Now let's say at balance sheet date up to 31st March, I haven't still paid the loan. So that loan needs to be shown as liability in my balance sheet, right? So at balance sheet date, the exchange rate can be different from the date of transaction. So subsequently, I have to recognize at the exchange rate on 31st March, right? So the recognition on the balance sheet date, that is 31st March, that is my subsequent recognition. Educare offers various courses for SEBI Grade A 2020 examinations. We have comprehensive course for SEBI Grade A 2020 that covers the syllabus for both paper 1 and 2. Then we have MCQ courses for SEBI Grade A 2020 for paper 2, and we also have SEBI Grade A 2020 crash course for phase 1 and 2. You can apply with coupon code SEBI, SEBI, and avail discounts on comprehensive courses and crash course. However, since MCQ courses are already available at a discounted price, no further discount is available in MCQ course. You can enroll on these various courses on the basis of your preparation phase. Moving on to question number 3. A machine was purchased by the company on 1st Jan 2010 in foreign currency. The price of the machine was $100 and the exchange rate was ₹60 for $1. In 2015, the exchange rate is ₹70 for $1. What shall be the value recorded in the balance sheet in 2015? So the answer to this question is 6,000. Now how do we come to this answer? For that we have to understand subsequent recognition in detail. Okay, so as per AS 11, at each balance sheet date, various items should be recorded using the following rates. So for foreign currency monetary items, we recognize subsequently at closing rate. What is closing rate? Closing rate is the rate at balance sheet date. That is the rate, exchange rate at 31st March. For non-monetary items, the exchange rate should be exchange rate prevailing at the date of transaction. Now coming to the question, a machine was purchased, right? So is machine a monetary item or is it a non-monetary item? It is a non-monetary item. So we fall under category B, right? And when it was initially recognized on 1st Jan, the exchange rate was ₹60. Now in 2015, the exchange rate is ₹70, right? But for non-monetary items, subsequent recognition should be at exchange rate prevailing on the date of transaction. So what is the date of transaction here? It is 1st Jan and the exchange rate on the date of transaction is 60. Hence, we come to the answer 6,000, which is 60 into $100. So for non-monetary item, it does not matter what is the subsequent exchange rate. For example, what is the exchange rate in 2015? That does not matter for non-monetary items. But if I had taken a loan instead of buying a machine, then I would have to use the exchange rate 70, because for monetary items we have to take the closing rate, right? So the closing rate here is 70. But since machine is a non-monetary items, the exchange rate should be at the date of transaction, that is ₹60. Now category C. What is category C? It is non-monetary items carried at fair value or other similar valuations. Now certain non-monetary items like your inventories, they are recognized at net realizable value sometimes, right? So net realizable value is a kind of fair value only. So for those non-monetary items that are carried at fair value, the exchange rate would be rate prevailing at the time the values were determined. For example, if I determine net realizable value on 31st March, my exchange rate would be the exchange rate of 31st March. So I hope you've understood how we come to the answer. Now moving on to number 4. A company took a loan of $100 on 1st Jan when foreign exchange rate was ₹50 for $1. On 31st March, the exchange rate is ₹55 for $1. Which account would be debited on 31st March to account foreign exchange difference? So the answer here is your profit and loss account. Now this loan, it is a monetary items, right? So for monetary items we use the closing rate. So closing rate here is your 55. Now initial rate was 50, so there is exchange difference, right? Exchange difference of 5 per $1. Now this exchange difference, you have to recognize the exchange difference in your profit and loss account. Recognizing exchange difference. Any exchange difference arising on reporting the enterprise monetary items at rates different from ones at which they were recorded initially, then it must be transferred to profit and loss account. This is what your accounting standard 11 tells you. So for these transactions, the accounting entries would be as follows. First, on 1st January, you will recognize the loan, right? So you will debit your bank account and you will credit a loan account. Now on 31st March, you will identify the foreign exchange difference. So foreign exchange difference of rupees 500 will be identified, and on the same date, the foreign exchange difference will be transferred to profit and loss account. Now coming to the last question, question number 5. Dash foreign operations will carry its business as if it were an extension of reporting enterprise operation. A. Integral, B. Non-integral, C. Both, or D. None of the above. So the answer to the question is integral. Now to understand the answer, we have to understand the concept of foreign operations. See, in the previous questions, we discussed the exchange difference on foreign transactions, right? When a company entered a transaction in foreign currency. But what if a company has a brand, associate, subsidiary, or joint venture in a foreign country? Then that kind of association or joint venture, that is called your foreign operations. Whenever an entity has operations outside the country, such operations are called foreign operations. It can be in the form of brands, associates, subsidiary, or joint venture. The foreign operations should be classified as integral foreign operation, where the activities of foreign operations are an integral part, those of the reporting enterprise, and non-integral operation, in which case the foreign operation is not an integral part of the reporting enterprise. So in integral operation, if I have to give an example of integral operation, let's say you have a branch in foreign country where the branch imports goods from you and then it sells in that country, right? So it has no other business except selling your product. So that enterprise becomes an integral operation because the activities of that enterprise directly affects your balance sheet, right? But in non-integral enterprise, you make investment in foreign company and it affects the exchange difference, affects you to certain extent, but not as much as your integral operation. Now why do we have to classify foreign operations into integral and non-integral operation? Because the exchange difference, the recognition of exchange difference is different for integral and non-integral operation. See, in integral operation, the exchange difference is recognized same as prescribed for foreign currency transactions. So exchange difference in integral operation is recognized in profit and loss accounts. If the exchange difference is for long-term monetary items, then we can recognize in foreign currency translation difference reserve as well. But for non-integral operations, the difference shall be accumulated in foreign currency translation reserve until the disposal of net investment. So the recognition of exchange difference is different in integral and non-integral operation. Hence, it is important to understand which operations are integral and which are non-integral. So with this, we've come to the end of this video. I hope you found the video useful. If you like the video, then do like and share the video, and subscribe to the channel for more questions on accounting standards and other topics for SEBI Grade A 2020 examinations. Thank you.